This here is broccoli, and in this video we'll go over how to grow your own broccoli successfully every time. So let's get started. With broccoli here in our climate, we can grow it basically all year round, but in the ideal conditions where they grow the best is usually in the spring and in the autumn. The best way to start your broccoli seedlings is to start them in just some small 6-cell trays, or even bigger ones if you want to sow more seedlings. And don't do direct sowing because we've tried that in the past and it's really hard because the seeds are quite small. So just sow them in small 6-cell trays, and then just sow about 1 to 2 seeds per module, and then wait for about 4 to 6 weeks, and then they should be ready for planting. When the seedlings are ready for planting, make sure to plant them in an area which gets at least about 4 hours of sunlight, and make sure to space them at least about a foot apart or 30 centimeters, but ideally we like to space them just about 40 centimeters apart because that gives them the maximum potential for them to grow to their biggest size. What we like to do when planting broccoli is first amend the soil with a lot of compost, and also to amend it with a fertilizer that is high in nitrogen because that'll promote the leaf growth. Fertilizers just like chicken manure, blood and bone, or just blood because that has a really high content of nitrogen, and other fertilizers like fish or basically any other that has a high content of nitrogen, just use that. With broccoli and other brassicas, it's important to cover them with a netting to prevent the cabbage white butterfly, because we've done that in the past, like not covered the plants, and what happened is their caterpillars, they lay their eggs and then they just consume all the leaves, and then the plant just doesn't really grow. It doesn't really have a chance to recover anymore, and then you won't really get any broccolis. So what we like to do is just to get some hoops and then just place them around the beds, and then just throw over some netting over it, and that usually helps keep the bugs away. And because as you can see here, the leaves are very nice and don't have much holes, that's because the caterpillar don't have any chance to eat the leaves. Broccoli also tends to grow fairly well in clay soil, what we've noticed. So even if you have clay soil or not that good of a soil, you can still grow broccoli. And also you can grow broccoli in pots because they have a very shallow root system. So even if you have a very small bed, you should be fine with growing broccoli. And also when growing broccoli, just like basically any other plants, make sure to just keep up the moisture and give it enough water. Most broccoli tends to be ready in about 90 days or 3 months, but this time can be more or less depending on the time and season. Usually like in the summer when the days are the longest, they will mature faster, but in the winter months they will mature a bit longer. So just try to keep that in mind. And when harvesting broccoli, just have a look at the outward leaves. If they're starting to protrude outwards, that means the broccoli is ready. And the head should still be tight, because if the head is not tight and starting to loosen, then it's becoming overripe and you just need to pick and eat it. Because what we've done in the past is sometimes we've left the broccoli like for too long, and then those flowers just start to separate and it just becomes quite hard and fairly unpleasant to eat. So make sure when harvesting broccoli is you just get it at that right spot, that it's just the ideal size and it doesn't go like spread outwards. So that's one thing you have to make sure to keep an eye on when they're maturing. Now, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give it a like and to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next video.